Hi, my name is Livia. I'm a professional illustrator and art director, and this is the first episode of my series How to Start as an Illustrator. In this series, I want to talk about things I really wish someone had explained to me much earlier. Not just technical skills, not just anatomy or perspective, but a way of thinking that actually helps you move forward and stay consistent. How to choose what to draw, how to structure your workflow, how style actually develops, and how to learn through the process without being afraid of mistakes. These 4 key things will change the way you think and actually help you move forward and stay consistent. How do I know that? Because for a long time, drawing didn't feel light to me. It felt heavy. It felt something I should be doing, not something I was looking forward to. That's usually the first sign that something in the process isn't really working. So why most people feel stuck at the beginning? Well, if you look at the most illustration tutorials online, you'll almost always hear the same advice. Learn anatomy, learn perspective, learn color theory, draw every day. And yeah, all of that is true. But what people rarely talk about is how overwhelming this feels when you actually start. You try to learn everything at once. You don't know where to focus. Progress feels slow, sometimes even invisible. And from my experience, the biggest reason for that is not a lack of talent or discipline. It's the way we approach drawing from the very beginning. I choose this illustration very intentionally. It's a calm Christmas scene, a cat on a couch, small table, Christmas tree, gifts, warm light. Nothing epic, nothing dramatic. But illustrations like this are excellent for learning because they allow you to practice many things at once without pressure. So the first thing I want to talk about is subject selection. What you choose to draw is much more important than most people think. Many beginners choose subjects that they think they should draw. Things that look impressive, serious, or trendy, big fantasy scenes, complex environments, things they've seen in games or movies. And then they sit down to draw. And suddenly everything feels heavy. Because illustration isn't learned through one ambitious image, it's learned through repetition. And repetition only happens if the subject gives you energy. If you don't enjoy what you're drawing, you'll avoid it. You'll postpone it. And slowly, you'll stop drawing regularly. When I was studying, I spent years drawing only what was assigned to me. I had high grades, but I felt completely stuck. I had a feeling that my drawing quality was exactly the same as when I first enrolled. I remember being busy all the time, but not really moving forward. At one point, something very simple happened. I became interested in drawing tree branches, and I don't even remember why. I just started drawing them with pencil. And I remember thinking, what am I even learning from this? But through drawing something that genuinely interested me, I was learning perspective, line quality, rhythm, structure without forcing it. And you should never stop yourself from drawing something just because you're thinking, what am I even learning from this? How will this help me if I want to work in the gaming industry? Yeah, if you want to work in the gaming industry, you should absolutely practice the kind of work you want to apply for professionally. That part matters. But every single day you also need to make space to draw something that gives you energy, something you enjoy. In this video, I choose to draw my own cat in a Christmas atmosphere simply because I love her and I love nostalgic cozy scene. This illustration isn't about proving anything. It's about staying connected to why I draw in the first place. And inside this simple subject, I'm still practicing anatomy, proportions, foreshortening, perspective, composition, color. If you draw something you truly enjoy for 1 month, you will see progress. Not just in skill, but in confidence. Many artists work this way. Monet painted water lilies again and again. Hokusai returned to Mount Fuji endlessly. Not because they lacked ideas, but because focus creates depth. Also, if you have any additional questions while watching this, feel free to write them in the comments. I can't cover everything in one video, but we can always make a separate episode and go deeper into specific topics. second thing I want to talk about is workflow. And by workflow, I don't mean software, I mean structure. In illustration, workflow means knowing what comes first, what comes second, and what can wait. When I start an illustration, I always begin with a rough idea or theme. Not details, just direction. In this case, I knew I want a Christmas illustration, something warm and nostalgic, with my cat as a central character. Once that idea was clear, the next thing I think about is atmosphere. What should this image feel like? Is it calm or playful? Is it cozy or quiet? What time of day it is? What kind of light does it have? This is usually the part people want to skip, because they are excited to start drawing. But skipping this thinking phase is exactly what makes the drawing harder later. And so I start collecting references. I use tools like PureRef or Miro to build a reference board. On that board I collect everything related to the illustration. Color palettes, character references, environment references, lighting and atmosphere, and sometimes even a few written notes about what I want this image to communicate. I don't start drawing until this part feels clear. Once the reference board and mood board are resolved, then I start sketching. And sketching here is not about precision, it's about searching. I sketch very loosely, trying to see where things might work in the composition. Where does the cat feel natural in the frame? How big should the couch be? Where does the table sit without stealing attention? At this stage I actually expect things to look bad. If the sketch already looks perfect, it usually means I'm being too careful. I make a few rough versions, pick the one that feels the best, and only then I continue with that. This part should feel light, not stressful. A simple structure like this, idea, atmosphere, references, sketching, selection, already removes a huge amount of pressure. Also, there is one practical thing I want to mention. Try not to draw with the short, hesitant strokes, unless you are drawing very small details. Use longer strokes. Your hand needs freedom. If you look closely, you'll see me miss lines, redraw them, search, adjust many times, and that's normal. If there is no freedom in the process, it shows, especially in the children's illustration, because children don't care about perfect perspective. They feel whether an illustration is stiff or alive. If something doesn't work, move on, rest, find a reference, come back later. All this leads naturally into style. Style doesn't come from planning, it comes from repetition, from subject you return to and the details you care about. But most of all, style is rooted in your sensitivity. It reflects your personality, it's your personal expression. A lot of beginners think the style is something you choose like a label. In reality, it's a mix of conscious decisions and instincts. For example, I intentionally keep furniture windows clean and fairly straight because I want scene to feel readable and stable. And then I deliberately make smaller elements like gifts, ribbons, ornaments more playful, a bit bouncy, because that's where the joy of the image lives. And on top of all the planned decisions, there's my natural touch. I'm drawn to softer, sweeter, more tender shapes. My brush movement, the way I simplify, where I add details, and how I shape forms becomes uniquely mine over time. That's a personal expression. So, if you keep showing up and drawing consistently, your choices and your sensitivity will connect. And that connection becomes your style. And finally, the most important thing, learning through the process. Many beginners wait to feel ready, to know enough, to stop making mistakes. But most learning happens while you're making mistakes. Mistakes aren't failures, they're information. Some of my favorite ideas came from technically wrong things. Also, there will be slower days when nothing works. Those days are part of the process too. Very often they mean that something is forming beneath the surface. It usually means that something is reorganizing inside you. Something is being processed, even if you can't see it. And in my experience, the longer those quiet phases last, the bigger the shift that follows. So don't rush it, don't panic, Just stay present and keep going. In the next episode, we'll continue working on this illustration and move into color. Also, I'll talk more about the practical side of the job and what really matters professionally. Thank you so much for listening. Also, if there is a specific topic you'd like me to cover, leave a comment below and let me know. And at the end of the next episode, I'm preparing a small gift for you. Until the next time, and don't forget to enjoy drawing. Bye!